Yes. Okay. Now we go to Morgan. If you could be so kind to make Matthew DuHaime a co-host, I'll start chatting about him for a minute, and then we'll be able to pull him in live. I see his son Nick on here. I don't see Matthew yet, but I don't see every video. So, oh, there he is, looking good with the sun shining on his face there. All right. Well, Matthew, listen, I am so proud of you for what you've done in building your business. In fact, Morgan, I can make him a co-host right here because I can see it easily. There we go. I'm so proud of you for what you've done. Yeah, I remember the first time we talked, you were going into that Office Max or Office Depot up in New Jersey, and you were going to set up a booth and talk to business owners as they walked in. You were in New Jersey at the time, and you went for it, and you had some referrals, but you walked out of there saying, okay, all right, tried it. Let's try some other things. And I remember a switch happened. I'm not going to share what that is, but I just wanted to congratulate you, first of all, as being our agent of the month. You were nominated by everyone in the corporate team, and then we put a list out to the field, and you had more nominations than anybody else from all of the DAC agents. You had more nominations than anybody else as our agent of the month, and you were at the top of the list of the internal corporate team. So I think that's what we call unanimous. I don't know how often it's going to be unanimous, but you were unanimously voted as our agent of the month. Not only that, you won the healthcare challenge, $2,000 for having the most healthcare active customers, another $1,000 for having the most submissions. I mean, what a month, eh? What a month. And it's more of the same. It's not a special month for you. This is kind of status quo for how you are and what you do. And I just want to bring you on here live. Everybody, give it up. I'm going to unmute everyone. Give it up for our agent of the month, Matthew DuHaime. Matthew, go ahead and unmute yourself, everybody, and give him an applause.
Way to go, man.
Let's go, Dad.
Yeah. Let's go.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Yes.
Wow. Let's go, Dad.
Oh, I heard go, Dad. I love it. I love it. All right. Matthew, I'm going to unmute you here. I had to mute everybody, which meant you. So bear with me 1 minute. Hey, these virtual meetings are awesome, but by golly, sometimes they can, cause a little bit of a headache on the performance of the moderator, me. Matthew, you're unmuted again, my friend. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you, David. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, buddy.
Oh, okay. There it goes. Thanks all. I really appreciate it. And I'm honored. It's, and it's not trivial to say that. It's not cliche. It really is an honor to be honored by this group. And I want to thank all the support team. Without those guys, this company, we say it's us, we're nothing, but without, Brad and Wade, Lindsay and Joyce, of course, and Kelsey and Morgan, of course, and Mama Bear Ruts in the back there. You guys put up with a lot of stuff. It's probably not an easy thing to do, but we're on a mission. So I guess perhaps anything I could just share is we're on a mission to kind of bring this to the funnel to a point where we're all part of this thing and everybody's included in this little journey. So what would you like to talk about, Mr.
Well, I think it'd be great if you gave everybody a little bit of how you come to find DAC, number one. I know you've shared that in a call in the past when we did a teleconference call, but what I'd really like to accomplish today is if you can give a little background so people can know a little bit more about you and your family, but also how you got involved in DAC and why you are, building it over the phone and how you're building it over the phone and having success over the phone.
Well,
so tell us a little bit about your background. You're from Jersey, right? You have a couple kids that are top performers. You got a wife that you married up for, no question about it. And tell us a little bit more.
Well, again, we're all gifted and blessed in this life. And I was thinking about what to say on this call. I was going to write some notes down. I said, no, everything I pretty much do is off the cuff. The way the brain works, it's funny when some people operate well under, say, stress or duress. We're hardwired that way. I happen to be one of those people. I don't prepare a lot. I just go at it, and I'll talk about that in a little bit about how I go about making calls. But there's some value in spontaneity, like how I met my wife, right, and how I developed relationships with people. But yeah, I'm blessed. My children are a blessing. You know, my wife, and I give all praise and glory to God. I'm not any more special than anybody else. We're all gifted. I thought about this before I got on the scene. So what am I going to say to everybody? And it's that everybody's uniquely gifted and blessed with something, and you've just got to discover what that is in your life, and then use it to serve others. That's kind of going to make you happy. And I think success.
What were you doing? What were you doing before you found DAC? What type of work did you do?
Okay, you want to hear about me? You know, I grew up. I'm the youngest of eight kids. Like, you know, Noah's part of the eight, right? Our August agent of the month. He's, you know, the middle child. I'm the baby of I'm the baby of the family, and there are advantages and disadvantages. I don't know how many people are the youngest in a big group, but you know, my dad raised 8 kids. You know, and he was bankrupt when I was born. And I learned the work ethic from my dad, how to fight, you know, face adversity in the you know, in the eye, into the abyss, and really take stock in yourself and make the most of your situation. So, but you know, back to me. I mean, I want to defer away from me. I want to help everybody in this call. You know, enough. I mean, about me. You see me all the time. I love to, obviously, I'll offer suggestions and, you know, advice and things because it's working. I'll only offer something that I've done. I'm not pontificating, although there are, you know, things I'm always learning, which is kind of cool. You know, I get on these calls, I'm doing well, and then there's always something else. Oh, I picked up something, or something about my attitude. David shared Jordan Peterson's you know, name and his you know, seminars and his books recently, and it's funny, I'd never heard about him, but it's so funny. I relate to this guy as a kindred spirit. Many of these things, the things that he talks about, are really great philosophies for life. And one of the things is about, you know, be somebody you want to, you know, be the person you got to take care of, you know, take care of yourself, be a friend to yourself. And there's many, you know, people go through life with different circumstances, and they don't, you know, feel necessarily worthy of things that they're involved in, you know, self-loathing and all that stuff, and a lot of those things in their society, the reflections. I don't want to be sociological, you know, Mr. You know, but I'm just saying that you make the best of your situation. You find something good in yourself, and you're going to see it in other people. Growing up as the, you know, youngest of 8 kids gave me that opportunity, and some people say, oh, well, you learn better from your own experiences. But man, I'll tell you, it's really nice to be able to not have the consequences of a mistake and be able to learn from it. So I learned to learn from other people's mistakes, all the while always, you know, realizing, oh, you know, comparing and contrasting it with mine. But attitude's everything. It's just about an attitude. You've got to adopt an attitude in life. Yeah, we moved to Argentina. I'm down. It's springtime here, guys. 80 degrees. It's gorgeous. I know you're going into cold weather up there, you know, New Jersey. I love the autumn. I miss that. The beautiful foliage, New York State. I used to love to drive upstate with the kids, you know, and enjoy it. Yeah, I've got top performing kids because they're blessed, you know. Again, they love the value in what God's given them. And I think everybody's got to see the value in things more, especially now. So we're talking over a connection. I'm 5,400 miles away from, you know, where I grew up. And I'm able to do this, you know, conduct this business from here. I'm not suggesting that you can't do it from your home. I mean, you get on the telephone. I'm gonna put my glasses on. One thing that's going away is my eyesight, and I can't see with a glare here. Now I can see, kind of.
You look great.
Oh, really?
You're centered. You look great. Great backdrop. I thought it was a fake backdrop.
It's
You
real.
got a beautiful, blessed place there.
There's a river out there. I don't know if you can see. It's like the Mississippi River. I'm on a
Oh, nice,
river-
nice,
river.
nice.
much cheaper here. So, you know, earn money at DAC and live here for 1/4 the cost of living. It's pretty smart, right?
Hey, smart man.
As long as you have a bank account there. So, yeah, I'm just trying to suggest, David, that you know, I'm using this platform to honor the Creator, and you know, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of the Lord. I never will be, and that's fine. There are things in this world right now. See, the context is everything, isn't it? You know, so what is it? October of 2020. Now, October 2019 is a very different world. You know, and your mindset was different. You got a different events and exterior influences that are affecting your ability to concentrate and focus on what you've set out to do, right? Assuming you've set goals and you have an objective, you have a reason why, you know, taking stock in yourself. I said, why am I doing this? So one thing I would just suggest to any agent listening to this thing in the future or now is that, you know, I talk about convincing yourself. You don't have to convince yourself this is good. Either it is or it isn't. If you see it, you see it. If you don't see it, then don't, you know, in good conscience, do this because you need money. It doesn't make sense. Find, as I said, find something good in yourself. You'll see it in others. Find something good in the services that this company, that David Rutz has put together in this really neat mosaic of business and consumer services. But I'm focusing on the business services and getting in the mindset of a business owner. I never owned a business. I began my sales career at Jack LaLanne's fitness instructor. My sister Maddie, she encouraged me because I'm outgoing and let's go. You know, I'm an entertainer. I'm a musician, and I love to perform.
What do you play?
Oh, I'm a guitarist and a pianist. I've been playing the piano since I was 8 years old. I taught myself.
And you can sing. And you can sing, I hear.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think you've sent me something of you singing.
You don't want to hear it. You know what? I've got a very good ear, so I can sing in key. Your wife and your kids have they have operatic voices. They're blessed with the singing voice. I'm not, but I can fudge it really well. I'm a good, you know.
Well, we're gonna have to have you in Michigan sometime in the cubbyhole. You can play, and we'll broadcast it because I think you can sing too. But so take us to your earliest days, because we're gonna have some people watching this who are brand new to our business, brand new to DAC. Your earliest days when you first started, the pricing of the capital, your earliest days in healthcare. Right, when you first learned about healthcare, because you saw this when we introduced it, your earliest days in payment processing, kind of go through each one, the process you went to go from learning about it to believing in it.
That's good.
What was it that took you from learning about it to believing it? What key points?
Well, I can only start with business capital because I have a background in finance, and I'm a proponent and a believer in, so funny, the Federal Reserve is talking about eliminating cash. That's the last control we have over a central bank, is our ability to withdraw our money. It's perilous times we're in. Card money, constitutional money was gold and silver. That was my orientation after Jack LaLanne's and selling memberships. I got into the business of selling money, real money, not debt-based money, right? Yeah. Federal Reserve notes. And I studied that whole thing. Eustace Mullins and Cleon Skousen, you might know, in Utah, any folks out here, did a thing on the Constitution, the second annual conference on the Constitution, try to save our republic back in the 90s, right? I was into, let me put it this way, I believed in the value in, lost the train of thought, about owning real money, real assets, and offering something and believing in it. Okay. So I did that on the phone. I also did the money shows and these trade shows in Vegas and, you know, Orlando, all over the United States, which was kind of interesting. And I got to do it in person and on the phone. I want to talk about that aspect with all these folks soon too, about presenting yourself or presenting what you have in person as opposed to over the telephone. And a lot of folks.
What about our capital though? So you come to us with some background in finance.
Sorry about that.
What is it about No, it's all right. It's all right. I love how you think. So I'm just going to try to keep us on a track that I'm trying to accomplish too. So business capital, you saw it. You didn't say, "Oh, that's expensive." What did you say that helped? Because you've not been a business owner. Right. What attracted you to it?
Well, yeah. So back to my orientation with funding or finance and understanding money and commerce, let's just say, not necessarily being an owner of a business and realizing the liability. Well, although my partner was constantly, I was helping him. and I saw what he did. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I just want to do this. But what I saw in DAC, I came to it from Longevity, by the way, and I want to make a statement here. This is a statement. I believe that God blessed the world with Dr. Joel Wallach, and anybody on here knows that. That's the orientation. I would not know about DAC if it wasn't for Dr. Wallach and his groundbreaking research and his, the testimonials of folks that he's helped, and I'll use the C word, cured of ailments. So giving our bodies what God blessed us with, a perfect immune system, guys, a perfect constitution. And if we just only use what he gave us in nature, we can heal ourselves. We can heal everyone else. So I want to say that. I came to DAC through Wallach, through Longevity. I saw it. I said, wow, what? They're offering this and this. I just did a little research, and I watched this guy do a I guess you had your first recruiting Zoom, and you're sitting there with your hands up there, very serious, Michigan, and you want to come on board, take a look at this. I'm like, he's talking about it. He's talking about the commissions. They're really cool. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I know businesses. God, they need money. I could definitely do that. I was in Argentina. I just left my other business. I had a bout with conscience. I was making is it possible to make too much money? Yeah, it is if you're doing it for the wrong reasons and you're not serving your client's interest. Yeah, it's possible. So I kind of, fell off, but I found this. I saw this is a way to do what I know I can do and help businesses without, feeling any guilt or remorse, and be able to look in the mirror and say, yeah, I did a good thing for them. It was a win-win, benefit, no losers. So as long as I could do this, okay, attack, boom, and then, not only the funding, I saw the way Mr. Russ was putting together his operation, like, I've got this, and this complements each of these things. And I saw that where it's going. And guys and girls, the gals, it's going to be, if you just hold on, you can be patient. A lot of people give up, and most people give up. I get it. I understand why people, it's really, it's hard. I'll put it this way. I'm doing this full time now. Most of these people are part-time, and I started it, part-time, and, did something kind of on the side. It's hard to do this part-time if you don't build a team of folks that want to be relatively active and serve their communities.
Let me ask you, how many times do I call you a week, or does Wade call you a week to motivate you? 0, right? 0. So folks, I would just say this for everyone watching. Can you tell Matthew is pretty inspired? I mean, if we just said go, I could sit down, not ask a question. Do you think he would stop within an hour and a half talking about what he loved about DAC? He would go, he's like me. I need parameters. I have to set alarms to shut me up. And because we love what we're doing, you don't have to wake Matthew up. I'm sure there's days he doesn't want to get after it. Ever have days you don't want to do it?
Absolutely.
Of course. But yet there's something. What is it that you reach for? What do you think about to get you to act when you don't feel like it?
Wow. I was just thinking about that yesterday. I had a crappy day yesterday. My head was up not in the right place.
Flexible you are.
What's that?
I said, you're pretty flexible.
Apparently, that's what Jack LaLanne's did for me. Hold on a second. Let me pull it out. So the annual cranial inversion. How do you do it? I think about what's going to happen if I don't. I think about the consequences of being a jerk or lazy or an excuse maker. Oh, here's what gets me. Yeah. I think about what Vince Lombardi, we were talking about the psychology of winning, right? The other day. And I think that's it. I'm always slapping myself back. I'm not being I'm not hurting myself. It's good,
Hold yourself accountable.
Give yourself a little, check up from the neck up. When you catch yourself making excuses about, well, I could do this, but okay, no problem. You could do that. You could do that. But are you willing to live with the consequences of not doing what you should do when you have to, pay the piper or do what? So so I'll snap out of it. I feel sorry for myself. You know, I used to make a joke with my old partner, the poor me songs on the radio. Everything, oh, poor me, poor me. Oh, the victim songs of being a victim. BS. Get over it. Do whatever it takes and just fight. You got to fight. You know, your DNA, why we're here is because your ancestors fought. They just like survived. They fought for what you have. The founders of the United States fought for their independence, their liberty, their freedom. It's got to be a struggle. Frederick Douglass in the 1840s, 50s, a quote I keep somewhere up here or wherever it was. It's certainly not down there, but the quote I keep is about that he made about the struggle. You know, it's got to be a struggle. A power concedes nothing without demand. There's got to be, you know, a struggle. He said the limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. That's how he finished the quote. But it was about the struggle is necessary. You've got to fight. You know, look at the trees. Look at the small plants. They get that wind, and they're strong. You take a plant inside the house. You know, it's got to, okay, let's put it outside. One windstorm, boom, dead. Tomato plants. You know, think about planting a garden. So get used to getting that resistance, getting blown around. It's going to make you strong. You got to get in the arena, like Teddy Roosevelt said, the man in the arena. Everybody look that quote up. Look up that quote, the man in the arena. You can criticize anybody. Get in the damn arena and fight and see what it's like. Then you can talk about it, and then you could have some, valid. Oh gosh, good words of wisdom and some good some guidance that's going to help somebody. So I want to get into that thing, David, about participating and doing something when you don't feel like it. Back to that point, took me 10 minutes.
No, you know what you've shown though? What I love about these interviews is people get to witness you're philosophical, you're a reader, you hang on quotes, you lean on things to inspire you because people aren't. So and I hope all of you who are watching this ask yourself, are you philosophical? Do you lean on quotes? Do you have things that you believe in that wake you and stir you like Matthew does? Because that's what I'm seeing is what drives you when nobody's calling you, right? When people are saying this doesn't work or whatever, you've got something driving you. So you have witnessed it just in talking about it. But so you look at that attitude stuff, you lean on your philosophies, the meanings that stir you up, that you want to respond to. They're your life philosophies. You believe them, and that's why you act. So with all that said, you know, you were put in a situation where you were in Argentina. We don't allow you to get clients in Argentina. A lot of people who live in Australia and DAC aren't active, live in Canada and DAC aren't active. You're not in my country. You're not in my country. And they find a good reason. Can't blame them, but I don't agree with them. They find a good reason. And we're going to go to allowing everyone who's on to ask you questions in a moment, because I'm sure some people are saying, ask them this, Dave, or ask them this. And I want to be able to get them to be able to do that. But what was it that made you say, I need to do DAC from Argentina rather than it's not for me from Argentina? Something made you want to do it. What was that? Was it serving clients? Was it the money you could make? Was it the team you could help? Was it the vision of DAC that you believed in?
Kind of a combination. Okay. You're positing a question that I never actually asked myself.
Right.
And I want to be honest, you know, I don't want to be phony.
Please.
There's another quote I hold on to is, you know, to thine own self be true and you shall do well. You know, there's a lot of reinforced delusion out there. Let me say this. It was convenience, the ability to do, to successfully make enough money to facilitate what my situation was here on the telephone, which is what I did for pretty successfully for about 26 years, selling, you know, rare coins with a company in Hilton Head in New Jersey. So I was pretty successful at it. Like, I can do this, and I got into it, and I could. So I got results quickly, which most agents don't. And it's not saying, oh, you're wonderful. I was lucky, maybe, or I had enough like fire, you know, to get after it. What was your?
Okay, so just stop right there. You said convenience, right? It was, you were already involved in the business, but if you learn about it not through longevity, free to start, you can build it from anywhere. You got access to tools, the money you can make. So being able to make upfront money mattered.
Yeah, and I like you. I like David Rutz. I saw something, honestly. You know, you can be a judge, good, decent judge of character over the years, and I've dealt with a lot of people. You know, and growing up, I mean, 8 kids, right? And I mean, you can see phonies from a mile away. I can see people that are full of crap. This guy's real. I saw this. I said, this is real. This guy. In other words, he believes in what he's doing. He genuinely cares about the people that he's supporting. He genuinely has a vision. He believes it. He's done it before. I want in. I'm in. I was like, yeah, I'm in. And you know, with a little back and forth with the things that, you know, I saw in the beginning, I had some setbacks, right? You know, I was like, I was looking at things with a jaundice, I can't say jaundice, and a little bit of skepticism, which is healthy sometimes too.
And
But
when you had it, you picked up the phone and called, right?
I did, and you were
talked.
responsive. No, we sent emails, and you know,
Yeah.
you were very responsive, and without having the feeling compelled to defend anything.
Could you sum it up? Because you said convenience, the amount of money you could make, the fact that it matched your skill sets with telemarketing. You happen to like this dude, which I like you, so I'm glad. But can you sum it up with you believed what we believe?
Can I sum it up with?
Is that an accurate statement? You believe what we believe. What we're spewing of our beliefs out, do you believe them as well?
Absolutely. I would say you're posing any question. I want to be honest. I want to answer questions honestly. Oh yeah, sure, I believe it. No, let me think about it. I mean, sometimes you can answer a question. I would say 98%. Yeah, you know, and nobody's ever 100% anything. They're lying if they are.
Right.
They're lying. I'd say 98%. Yeah, you know, and for a while there were some things I didn't agree with, and then I came to see that I couldn't do it better. Like, or maybe I could, but I've not tried, so I'm not qualified to say, oh, you know, I don't like that. I can do it better. Yeah, go ahead. I haven't, so I can't say it, you know. But with all the things that you're juggling, see, I'm not going to make a criticism here.
No. Let me say this. I'll criticize DAC.
Yeah, exactly.
Myself, operationally, marketing wise, different things. We've got improvements to make. We got teams that will give everything they got to do so. But our philosophies, our beliefs of what we're doing,
is real.
I would think you're on page with, and so we always teach, don't we? Teach, share what you believe, and you'll attract people who believe like you do.
Well, there it is, and I'm guilty, not done it enough. I'm not there now. Of course, no excuses. I'm looking at Ellen Wynn. She's like the example, and there's other examples in here that do that. I'm working on it. Believe me, I'm a good customer. I'm a salesman, man. You know. I'm a professional sales closer. That's what I was, and I honed it down to an art and to great a degree. You got that top 1%, you know, of the income earners in the world. It's selling, and it is the top paying profession for those that do well, and it's the lowest paying profession for those that don't.
And you've had to back some of that up, right? In our industry, you've had to pull some of that back. Yeah. Is that true? Yes. You had to start focusing on the business owner more than the commission?
Totally. What do they call it? A new experience. It's like you're flying, you're running, said, right foot only. What, holy shit, I can't use my left foot. Like, okay, I'm sliding. All right, I kind of got this. I get it. All right, so no left foot. And, well, this is pretty much the same as long as I don't push or as long as I don't blah, 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 and I don't think for them. Okay, yeah, I got it. I adapted to that philosophy. Yes, if there's a better, only word I could think of now is adapting to that. And then, as you mentioned, utilizing the skill set that I was so familiar with. And
so I know you've done a recording on the phone on how to approach clients. And by the way, folks, if you haven't heard Matthew say it, he said himself, approaching people for the healthcare is a higher, what's the rate? Conversion rate than business capital. Reaching out to people about healthcare cold over the phone has a higher conversion rate than working capital. They either need it now or they don't. And, you know, there are a lot of open-minded now or there's not. But but isn't it the same techniques in the end? I summarize it as meet, greet, and inform. Take it deeper than that because you're on the phone a lot more than me. So for everyone who's thinking about picking up the phone and dialing for dollars or dialing for relationships or contacting for comfort, whatever you want to brand it so you're willing to do it, I call it meet, greet, and inform because I can't sell. I have to greet and inform people what we got, or I don't like myself because I focus on the commission I can make and I close them and Tommy Hopkins comes out and I just don't like that. I want them to want it. And so I got to tell myself, I'm just meet, greet, and inform. That's what works for me before I'll pick up the phone. You've got yours. For everyone else is listening, how do you brand it to yourself, or how do you recommend they all brand it to themselves? Many of them don't have the experience you have.
Well, let me preface it by saying that selling, and I'm not underscoring or undermining what the philosophy here is and what we're teaching, the DAC way. But I will say this, that the term or the profession of selling has got a bad rap because so many amateurs destroyed it. And the profession of being able to lead somebody to a decision and assist them in making the decision that's in their best interest, but they usually don't know that. They don't know it until they actually own it or have it. If you know it's in their best interest, you got to try to find a way, subtly, lovingly, caringly, to get them to the point of realization that it's their decision, it's in their best interest to make a favorable decision, to just to even listen what you have to offer in the first place, right? And then ultimately to act upon it. And I'll say this, and I understand why you hate selling because it's not a technical.
I like that.
Thing.
I like what you just said.
It's not a technical. Yeah, it's not a technical. That's the reason, because you got books, Tom Hopkins, and all this stuff. It's not a science. It is an art, and it's a very intimately human thing.
Your heart.
It's an art. It's like I play piano. You know what? Guess what? Sit me in front of a piano with all those notes and stuff. I'm like, and I started playing to my music teacher when I was 8 years old. I had already figured out how to play like everything. And she's like, dude, I'm like, can I do this? And she's like, how did you learn to do that? I'm like, well, I just kind of like compared and did it again. And said, that's a mistake. And that's good. And I just learned by experience, by acting. And you will learn much more by just jumping in there and say, well, I learned the song. I kind of figured it out. So association. Oh, that sounds great. Well, that makes sense. And I started looking at it linearly, like logically, right? Okay, there's eight, we got 12 notes and there's math here. And I started seeing the association, the logic. And then I was merging the sounds and the tones with what I was learning. I was like, this is cool. Then I went to school and I studied music.
Wait, stop real quick. Did you ever feel like a failure when your song didn't sound too good?
No, I was never that hard on myself.
Did you ever feel embarrassed while you were learning how? Did you ever feel like you were going to let others down when you were learning how?
Hell no.
All the things that people making phone calls feel wrongly in their head when they're learning how to do it.
Hell no. No, I was doing it for me. I wanted to learn. I didn't care what that. I didn't give a crap what anybody else thinks. Believe me. Listen, here's something I tell my wife. She's gonna kill me. She's not here, but I'm gonna say it because this is for everybody's benefit, and it's true. It's biblical. Just think about this. If you think about the people, you're worried about judging you. You're concerned about the people in your life or even strangers. You're worried about the type of people that will judge you. Well, first of all, don't worry about what other people think about you, because those folks don't think very highly of themselves. Don't worry about it. I don't really concern myself with what anyone thinks about, because guess what? They don't think too highly of themselves, and it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm not going to associate myself with somebody that's that critical of me. So I'm not trying to please them. I'm trying to please the Lord. Number one, I hope I live my life when I leave this world. I did serve God, and ultimately I was responsible enough to see my responsibilities and do the best I could while we're here for the short time. So selling is not a bad word. That's what I was trying to. It's got a bad rap from amateurs. So, convincing, the power of persuasion for something good. If you got something good, well, Jesus said, don't hide your lamp under a bushel, didn't he? Right? So get it out there, You know, let your light shine in the way that I believe in this. So back to your healthcare. Yes, it's a door opener. It's easier. We've got all these things. Choose your thing. I like the healthcare thing because it's something that most people are thinking about. It's it's not obtrusive. I can't think of the best obtrusive. So you can't really feel like you're threatening. They don't feel threatened, right? Even from an alpha male, they don't mind that you're kind of just like, you know what? Are you happy with what? So by asking questions, okay, I thought of that. This is it. You've got to ask questions in order to help them. Selling is not telling.
What do you mean by questions? What kind of questions would you ask?
Okay, thank you. Statement. Bring me back to this. The quality of the questions that we ask directly is commensurate to the quality of the lives we live. You can write that down. I said it. I thought about it. That's my quote. The quality of the questions that we ask of ourselves in general or others is commensurate to the level of quality of the life that you're going to live. And I'm just going to say that it's about asking the right questions, caring questions. Do I care about this? But put myself in a mindset. Okay, so are you happy with paying these ridiculously rising healthcare costs if you're paying it? Are you offering a healthcare for your employees? You know, to attract more employers, more employees for your work, for your business. No, we can't afford it. It's because it's expensive, right? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, what if there was a way that you could afford to offer it to them and they could pay for it, they want it, and you look like a hero and you could hire more employees? Would that be something you'd be interested in taking a look at? That's an excellent question. I just like, yeah, yes, I would. You'd be stupid not to say, why don't you offer health care? It's too expensive. Okay. Do you offer health care then? Oh, by the way, you're through the health care thing. What you're doing is saving them immensely, a lot of grief, a lot of money, a lot of time. It's worrisome. It frees them up to focus on their business, which is what they want to do anyway. So you're doing them a favor. So why the heck wouldn't you want to ask them a question? Let them, I think I'm going to free up your time. If you didn't have to worry about your health care concern, and I could show you a way you could get this done, your employees would love it, you just focus on your business, and you'd save maybe 30, 40%, would you let me do that? That's a good question. So just think outside the box. Just have a dialogue with yourself before you call.
By the way, no one taught you those questions. You learned them by playing the keys, right? By asking.
It's no.
Right?
Well, people are quite, I mean, if you're and I catch myself just talking and they hang up most of the time. I find myself like an idiot. No, I've believe me, I'm like,
but it's okay. But you're okay with it, right?
I'm like, well, no, I'm next call. Better. I'm going to ask questions. So I've gone through, and I've had people say, like, well, I'm not going to, that's self-deprecating, but I've screwed things up. I'm sure and it's not a good feeling to make a call that, oh my God, I hope I didn't mess this up for that business because I was a jerk. I wasn't asking enough questions and I wasn't listening. 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason, right? So
let's do this, folks. Bring your if you got a question for Matthew. We're a little limited on time, but I've asked a lot. Raise your hand if you've got a question directly for Matthew, and we're going to take that question. Go ahead and use the virtual hand raiser. And while we're waiting to see if anyone does raise their hand here, congratulations again on winning that healthcare contest.
Thanks.
And what was it about it that were you already calling people on healthcare then, or did that flip that switch where you said, I'm going to start calling more?
Well, when we introduced the health,
let's try to limit these answers to 30 or 40 seconds just so we can get through all these questions.
I tried when we started it. I didn't see success. And then when they offered this incentive, and I reevaluated it and I said, I'm going for it. I liked it in the beginning.
He didn't see success, but then the contest made him say, let's try it again. And he saw success. I love it. PK, go ahead and unmute yourself. Patricia, there you go. PK is unmuted. What question have you got for Matthew?
Yes, Matthew. Thank you so much. You've got, just listening to you, you've got so many gifts from God. You really do. And the best one is the gift of encouragement.
All right.
Man, that's there. And I'll tell you what, if you're a great salesman, you probably have the gift of evangelism and you don't even know it. But my question that I want to ask you is, you said something just right towards the end. I've been writing down a lot of stuff that you said, but you said something at the very end about the healthcare, and that was, do you want to hire more employees? So, you know, being a longtime banker, I'm the type of person, I only focus on business loans. I haven't looked at healthcare. I'm going to be honest. I haven't looked at it because being a business banker, I saw a lot of business owners go out of business when they had more than 50 employees because it, you know, the healthcare industry changed and they couldn't afford it. And so they had to let them go. Therefore, they lose contracts. They're out of business. I've seen it all. So now that you made that comment right now about, do you want to be able to hire more employees and let your employees pay for it and you look like a hero? So are you going for those companies that are 50 or more, or are you going for smaller ones?
Well, it's a great question, and thank you, PK, for all of those kind words. And we're all evangelists. I appreciate that. Okay, so healthcare for larger groups, yes, it doesn't matter. I'll call one with 15 or 4, or you know, I'm not really focusing on bigger ones, but I understand with the ACA thing, the 50 employees or more, they're obligated to offer healthcare. However, with this, my understanding is that they're not obligated to pay any more than half. And the benefit with this is it's about 30 to 50%, I'll just say 40%. I bought, by the way, the quotes that I've gotten comparatively compared to what these you know, the major 6 companies what they're paying is 40% less than they're paying. And they have, okay, so 6 points. Yes. So yes, they're open to it. Hiring more employees. You have the option by offering a healthcare option. Well, you retain. So retention is what you're talking about. Employee retention, yes. So they're absolutely going to love you. Would you, know, are you concerned about losing employees because of your healthcare costs? Is your question. Are you, would you be more inclined to retain happy employees if you were able to offer a healthcare option and it was this and it was less and they could they could choose the one they wanted and you could get a refund and give it back to them if they didn't use it at the end of the year? What did you just say? Yeah, I think you're going to find people who are like, what? Yes. So what's the catch? The only problem with this thing is people are going to start doubting it. It's like, this has got to too good to be true. And that's actually what you're going to encounter because, you know, people are jaded, justifiably so, in this culture and society, but this is real. Mm-hmm. So I hope that answers your question, PK.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
One thing I'll add to that, Patricia, is with insurance, you must pay 50%. With this, you don't have to pay 50%. You can deduct 100% from the employees.
Even better.
That really, really helps me a lot because when I used to interview business owners, and if they went out of business, I would say, what was the #1 cause of you going out of business? I will tell you 9 out of 10 would say healthcare.
Wow.
For those of you who don't, it's unbelievable. For those of you who don't know what she's talking about or what Matthew's mentioning, if you had more than 50 employees, you had to offer healthcare when the new Affordable Care Act came into existence, and you had to pay at least half of it. And if you were barely breaking even as it was, or making a little bit of profit, the moment you had to give all your people health insurance and pay for at least half of it, that just took your payroll costs way up and you couldn't afford it. And that's what Patricia's speaking about. This is ACA compliant and you don't have to pay 50%. You can deduct 100% from the employees if you want to. And Patricia, we appreciate all your insight as a banker. You bring a lot of confidence to people who say, why would people need this? Why would people need our capital? And you bring a lot of confidence to them, showing that, hey, it just doesn't exist through the big banks. Appreciate it.
Hey, well,
go ahead. You got one more follow-up?
No, I just wanted to say I liked it when he said that, you know, people are going to be negative and people are going to be doubters and stuff like that. And, you know, I liked it when you said just keep going, because I always tell people, you know what, you go ahead and keep doing, let people talk, but continue doing God's will. And that's what you're doing.
Amen. Love it, Patricia. You're an encourager. You're an evangelist. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Robert Ephraim. Roberts, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question have you got for Matthew?
Yes, Matthew. I just want to say thank you for the encouraging words that you shared with us today. It's very motivational and it's very encouraging. I just have a question about what was your defining moment that said that this is the business for you? What gave you that thought to say, I want to do this all out?
David Rutz.
Hmm.
I want to hook my chain up into the Sequoia roots. It's the idea that you got to make a decision. This guy, I'll be honest, I know this company's going to be around a long time. It's going to grow. I've got kids, and I'd like them to get into this eventually. This is a real deal. It's a real deal. I'm convinced it's the real deal.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate it, Matthew. Thank you for that. Thank you, Robert. Great question. And last question, Mark Wenham. Mark, go ahead and unmute yourself. And what question have you got for Matthew? Mark, you there, buddy? You are unmuted. You got a question? Okay, he's having trouble. Quinny Quinn just raised his hand. So Quinny Quinn, you got a question for Matthew?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, Matthew, I just want to say thank you, man, for your encouraging word, and congratulations for being for doing your thing.
Thanks, man.
Love
Appreciate it. South
Love
Carolina.
South
Kenny, you're in
Carolina.
South Carolina. They call you Kenny, right? The family, right?
Yeah, I just muted him. I'm sorry, buddy. But yes.
No
Hey,
worries.
listen, Matthew, closing words for everyone. I'm actually jumping on the healthcare team right now for a healthcare call. But what closing words have you got as our agent of the month for all the people that nominated you and for all those who are going to listen to this in the future? Oh, by the way, and he's a service star. Yeah, service star. Go ahead, Matthew.
So thank you, everybody, and anybody who felt they wanted to nominate me. I guess I always try to help folks. We'll do the same thing. My last closing words would simply be this. Just believe you're going to succeed. Be persistent and tenacious. I guess I can't think of another word that I would describe myself. If anybody said, how would you describe yourself? Tenacious. Be tenacious. You've got good things to offer people. Believe in it. Chest out, head up, shoulders back, smile. What have you got to lose? Go for it.
That $1 million right there. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. You've just joined our two prior agents of the month, Ellen Wynn and Noah Siegman, and I'm very proud of you, and we're honored to have you part of the company. Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you.
Love you. Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Love you too, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate you all. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you.